Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm filming. Okay, it's a 3-day weekend. I said that I would film this 3-day weekend because I have nothing but time, so I have time. And I've also been thinking about something like all week, honestly, since my reading. I have my psychic reading, and that's about what kind of woman do I want to be? You guys know I'm 26. I'm about to turn 27 in July. And it's funny because me and my best friend, we just got our 2022 psychic readings. And in those psychic readings, you know, our psychic pretty much just said, like, we're really going to have a death and rebirth, which is in line with what, like, the astrology planets are saying with Pluto. It's going to be hitting cardinal signs. If anyone's into astrology, I don't want to get on the tangent here. But she basically said the woman that we're not going to be at the end of this year. She specifically told me I will be growing up. I will be owning my beauty. I will be focusing on my career. And with my best friend, she's going to be getting a relationship. And it's funny because she really wants, you know, not funny, but she wants to get married and she wants to have children. And it's funny because she's like been a playboy for like the last 4 years. And so we were like talking about our readings and really talking about how we're going to have to grow up in so many ways. It's also funny because she told me I won't be dating this year. So like pretty much every guy, you just she said it's gonna be really about my career and really about growing into a woman. And so anyways, me and my best friend, we've just been talking about it, and like for her it's like, wow, you're really gonna have to be committed, you know. If you just think about dating, right, like we're 27. We're not at like 21 or 22 where we can just date carelessly and we can just date off like, oh, he's cute, or you know what I mean. We are women with, you know, prominent positions. I mean, not like super prominent, right? But like we have our stuff together. We're accomplished, we're successful, we have money, we have accolades, and we have freedom. And that's something that, it's funny because we really only think about men. Like you think about bachelorette parties and people are like, why would a man, you know, have a bachelorette party? And people really don't apply that same concept to women. And not to say like, you know, it's a bad thing to get married, to have children, and to be in a committed relationship, because it's not. But if you are a woman who enjoys freedom, like you think about Sex and the City, Samantha, Carrie, Miranda, they were accomplished. She like public relations, lawyer, she was a partner. You had an award-winning journalist and author, and you see how they dated. They had their own place, they had their own money, they had that freedom. And just as equally as, and that's the thing, it's not really so much of a, I think people get that confused, like, oh my god, like, wow, but you really do lose out on a lot of your freedom. Like, and so that's why people have bachelorette parties. Not to say that you should go wild out, but it is because it's like, wow, I'm growing up, I have to be committed, I can no longer just do stuff carelessly. And I think that's kind of like the conversation that we've been having, is like, you don't realize how much time you're really wasting doing nothing. And, you know, it's not really nothing because you're young and, you know, you're able to do nothing like that. But as you get older, you do get hit with this reality that, wow, I'm wasting time, I'm doing nothing. And so for me, you know, for me, it's funny because my psychic was like, you really cleaned up house, because I did. I cut off a lot of people. One, I had cut off friends really like 2021, but I cut off old friends because they were, and this was at the previous stage of life, right? This is another stage that I'm getting smacked with, like, wow, I'm 27 and all these different things are happening. But this was like after college, you know, after graduating, you realize that, you know, I'm on track to be an adult, so I'm gonna get the career. I'm growing up, I'm taking responsibility, I'm working on myself, within myself, getting therapy, working through my trauma that I experienced as a child. And so that's kind of like your first stage, you know, of maturity. It's like, okay, I'm graduating college, like I said, you're getting the career, you're realizing things about your childhood that play a huge impact into who you are today. And so, you know, the first stage for me with getting rid of those friends was just realizing that you guys don't want to work through that. And so if you don't want to work through your trauma, your trauma is going to work through you. And that means that you're going to recycle trauma. You're going to instill trauma in other people. And you realize that you can't, you realize that people don't want to change. They don't want to grow. They don't want to be that person. And it's unfortunate, but you have to cut them off. And so I cut off friends last year. And this year I had to cut off guys that I had emotional ties with, you know, like my ex, and then just this other guy. And I just realized that for me, where I have to grow up is pouring back into myself. I realized the men that I was energetically and emotionally tied to, I was begging for the bare minimum. You know, I think about how much time I wasted just getting a man to be honest with me. Like, just to be honest, just to communicate, you know? I wasted so much time trying to figure out what this man was really feeling, you know, versus him just being honest with me and communicating that. Wasting time getting a man to do things that he should know to do. And I just realized I was just wasting time. I was wasting time and energy with men who have no intentions of doing anything. And I just realized how much energy, like, I was giving away. How much time and emotion and energy I was pouring into other people that I really needed to pour back into me. And so, you know, it's one thing to do it when you're young, and that's why you do have that time, that space to do it while you're young, because you're young and you don't know any better. But I feel like I said, with our 2022 reading and 27 on the corner, we just got smacked. We literally just got smacked, like, oh my God, we're women. And, you know, me and my best friend, we don't have our moms in our life. And so we're kind of like, we mom each other, okay? We call each other out when we're out of line, okay? We hold each other accountable. We self-soothe on the phone together. We tell each other everything's gonna be okay. And but we literally got smacked. You're like, oh my God, we're literally outgrowing people. We're outgrowing situations. We're outgrowing even just like, it's funny because my best friend, she went to visit her sister, and like she was like, oh, 6th Street is just, it's so much going on, everyone's just wild, and like her mom was like, you sure you just haven't outgrown it? And she was like, what? No. And it's like, no, you literally just outgrow things. And it's crazy because you don't, it just hits you overnight. And so I realized I just outgrown the people I had emotional ties with, the friendships that I had, and my, you know, my psychic, like, you really cleaned up house. She's right, I really did clean up house. And so for me now, I'm in this process of pouring that love and that emotion and that energy back into myself. And so one way that I start to do that is I'm back journaling. I used to journal all the time. I've journaled since I was a kid. I still have journal entries from like 2014, 2013, 2016, 2018, 2019. I haven't really journaled between 2021 and this year really, but I'm back journaling. And so for me, journaling has always been a way to get my thoughts out, my emotions out, but it's also a great way that you can see growth in just how you think, growth within yourself, outwardly, inwardly, and it's a good way to just go back memory lane. And so I'm back journaling, and journaling helps me to connect with myself raw, you know, and so as I'm journaling, I'm thinking about, what are the things that I want to accomplish? What is the woman that I want to be? What am I hoping to grow into, you know, these next few years, especially with my career? And which is funny because like I said, like my psychic was like, you guys are sisters. Like, me and my best friend were sisters, and she's like, y'all are on the same tree, but right now you guys are actually entering different stages in life. And so for my best friend, she's gonna have the relationship, and for me, I'm not going to have, this is not going to be a year of dating for me. This is going to be a year for my career and for growth inwardly, for me to die and be reborn. And so as I've been journaling, I've been thinking about my career because as I said before, I really want to take it to the highest level. You know, you guys know I always talk about Kanye West and how he wanted to be a producer, he wanted to be a rapper, then he wanted to make Gap. But like, that's how I feel, but within business. I want to go to the executive office. I think about the women who inspired me when I was growing up. I remember I used to watch, she played that game all the time with Vivica Fox and Morris Chestnut, and she played Shantae Smith, and she was like a top executive, and she had like her office at the highest floor. She had a secretary, and she was authentic, and she was accomplished, and she was beautiful. She had her own place and her own car. I think about Kerry Washington as Olivia Pope in Scandal, poised, intelligent, well-respected, well-known, trusted her gut, her instinct, just flawless. And those are the women that inspired me the most. I think about 13 Going on 30, how she had the, you know, the dream apartment, the dream career. I even think about women I like at my old job. I remember they had the women on the board, and they had a seminar, and they were just talking about their journeys, and those women inspired me. That's what I envision myself as. I envision myself as accomplished and powerful, and I've always envisioned myself throughout all stages of my life. I thought about the woman that I want to do, the woman I want to be. And it's crazy because people are like, oh, you should use visionary, but visionary just means where do you vision yourself at? Where do you see yourself? I mean, it's crazy because I can see myself clearly. And I like, when I think about this woman that I want to be, I see her in this restaurant, and it's like this fancy restaurant. And although like it really doesn't, like, it has nothing to do with money, but I think it just symbolizes the status with how far I will have made it. And but particularly I feel her, and what I feel from her is just powerful. I just feel power, I feel confidence, I feel knowledgeable, I feel transparent, I feel authentic, and I feel a woman who's sure of herself. And I think the reason why I will be so focused on career this year is because in business, being at a top firm, I'm around leaders. And one thing about business is you have to be able to lead. That means that you have to have confidence, you have to have trust, you have to go with your instinct, especially because it's relationship based. You know, and it's crazy because I remember when I first started, I was like, I don't understand why it's taking people like 15 years just to get promoted here. Like, that's just crazy. And now the more time I spend, I'm like, wow, I realize I have so much to learn. I have so much to learn. I have so much to grow. I have so much to nurture within my knowledge. And I realize why it takes so long to get to that level. And I remember seeing this partner, we had like this reg exam, and they had asked the partner a question, and the partner just like, it was just incredible, like how he delivered. And you just hope to get to that level, which is so funny because I did my self-care deck today. And like one of my cards I got was don't focus only on the destination, enjoy the journey. I get this one a lot, especially when I'm thinking about the future, because that is my ultimate goal. But anyways, back to being a leader. If I want to get to that level, I have to be a leader, and I have to be confident in myself. And you guys know I talk so much about my insecurities on here, so much of, like, you guys know, like, my eye wanders. I'm so insecure about my lazy eye. I'm insecure, like, I have acne at my big age. Like, I have like a crooked tooth a little bit here. Like, I have a lot of things that I'm not confident about, you know. Sometimes I'm not confident speaking and delivering. And so I feel like where I want to take with my career and this time and this journey that I will be pouring into myself, I'll be pouring into myself, into the woman that I want to be. And that woman that I want to be is a powerful executive. I guess mastering myself within my career and having that confidence to lead in business and to be trusted and to build these relations and to build that growth and to get promoted and work my way is really going to help me to become the woman that I want to be, because that is going to pour into my own personal life. That confidence will pour into how I carry myself. And so I just really been thinking about that. I've really just been thinking about what is it, that woman that I want to be? How can I work towards that? And how can I pour into myself and bring that energy and that love back into myself so that I can accomplish those things, you know? And so that just requires growth. That requires a lot of growth, and it requires more work. And, you know, don't get me wrong, throughout life we're always working, but there's certain stages that are, you know, akin to graduating. You know, you think about, you go through high school, you know, grade school to high school, then you go through college. And that's the same way within life. You have stages in life, and there are certain stages that life requires you to really grow up, to mature, to be serious, and to think consciously about the decisions that you make, whether that's with dating, whether that's with your career, whether that's within yourself, whether that's within friendships. But something is going to be a catalyst of change, of maturity for you. And some people get stuck in life and they don't want to make those changes. They don't want to grow. They don't want to be that person. They get scared. You might have a man who just doesn't want to man up, who doesn't want to lead, who doesn't want to do the work to be the man for a woman, you know? And if he doesn't want to be a man, you have to think about what that decision will cost you for the rest of your life, if that makes sense. Like, so for instance, this is part of growing up, right? Like, say I dated a guy, and going back to the guys that I dated who just weren't willing to be honest, who weren't willing to be transparent, who weren't willing to just be a man. And at my age, I have that knowledge, I have that understanding that these people are wasting my time. So do I continue to waste my time and try to force something out of nothing? Or do I move on? And I think this is a stage of growing up, is where you can pretend that you don't know, you can pretend that you don't have that knowledge, and you can try to make something work with these men, but then that's going to be a decision that you have to pay for the rest of your life. And so you see with people who have toxic baby daddies or toxic baby mamas, or, you know, they're like, you know, stuck at home or with their family, their friendships, whatever the case may be, but they get stuck in situations that they should have made the decision to come out of. And then it becomes hard to correct because life tested you and you chose to not pass that test. You chose to not grow, not to mature, not to make that next step, to know what's better for you. And that's where that maturity is. That's where that growing stage is. And like, so like my cycle's like, you really cleaned up house because, and I knew I had to clean up house because I'm wasting my time and I'm too old now to continuously wasting my time. And I know that I'm wasting my time because at the end, what is it that I'm hoping to accomplish with these people? If you're not willing to be honest, then what am I doing? You know, if you're not willing to be, you know, transparent with your flaws, with your insecurities, with, you know, whatever the case may be, why am I wasting my time? And so I think that's just like one example of how you have to grow up, you know. Otherwise, you can't be shocked when you're still dealing with, you know, a whole bunch of nonsense that you really didn't have to deal with. And that's the part that a lot of people, and that goes back into accountability, where you see people who are miserable in their adulthood, and it's because they made decisions where they decided to not grow, to not pass that level, that stage in life, to graduate to the next level. Because I think if you can do that work to cut people off, do that work to grow up, to make decisions, conscious decisions, mature decisions, and realize this is a waste of time, I'm no longer going to participate. And I'm not gonna lie, it's boring. Okay, I cut everybody off and I'm bored as hell. I have my best friend and that's it. That's literally the only person I talk to, okay? But it allows me to realign my energy within myself. And I think when you show the universe that you're willing to be committed to that growth, to being that woman or that man, the blessings that await you on the other side are tremendous. And I think for me, that is gonna be that career. Once I get my career to the place that I want it to be, because right now my career is my baby, it's my infant. I plan on nurturing it. I plan on, you know, reading to it, spending time with it, giving it tender love and care so that I can grow it, you know. And it's gonna be like, it's literally gonna be like a life, a child, like 18 years, 15 years. It's gonna take a long time for me to get to where I want to be, but I'm in those beginning stages. But I do think that making this decision for myself to cut people off and to really be about myself this year and pouring that energy and that love into myself, and within pouring that love into myself, I'm able to pour that into my career simultaneously. I think it's going to be beautiful success waiting for me. And once I get to that success point, I believe that I will have that family, that children, those happiness for me. But God wants me to know that I'm willing to work for it. Know that I'm willing to be mature and grow up and get to that next stage and do what I'm willing to do. Damn, how long is this video? It's 20 minutes. Sorry guys. I know this is kind of like all over the place, so, but I think it's just imperative that you have to make those decisions and realize that there are certain stages in life where you make decisions and it really kind of determines the trajectory for the next few years of your life, the next few decades of your life, you know? And so you have to move accordingly, and that means growing up. And so, yeah, I've just been spending a lot of time thinking about what woman do I want to be and how do I get there? And what does that look like? And so I think this year is really going to be a year for me to really progress towards the woman I feel and the woman that I see myself as. And another thing too is I feel like my YouTube is really going to help me to be that, because you guys know I want to use my YouTube to connect with women all over, women of all ages, of all races. I just want to connect, and I don't even promote my YouTube on like my personal pages, because I really want it to grow organically, because I want to know that people are feeling what I'm saying and they're really understanding with it and they're really connecting with it, because that's important to me. Like I said, growing up, it was always hard for me to connect with people, and so it means the most to me to connect, to be able to establish those connections. By being myself, by being honest and being transparent and being authentic. And I just want to encourage women to always be yourself, to always be honest, to always be transparent, to be authentically you, because no one can do you better than you. But at the same time, always push and think about what is the best version of yourself. And when the time calls to grow into that woman, to make those decisions, those tough decisions, I'm into mature, but to just constantly challenge and push yourself to be the best version of yourself. But always stay true to who you are. You know, I'm still going to be me. I'm just going to be a mature, wiser me. You know, I'm going to be a confident version of me. I'm going to be an accomplished version of me. But I'm going to grow into that woman. And so, yeah, this is just a video of growing into that woman, thinking about what that woman looks like. And it's not, you know, it's no defined process. Like, it's gonna have to happen naturally, organically. You know, it's not gonna happen overnight, but it's at the forefront of my mind. And I think any woman who's turning 26, 27, or, you know, maybe you're like just graduating college and you're experiencing what I had experienced, which is like, wow, me and my friends just our values aren't the same. We're not connecting the same. The things that we want aren't the same. I've outgrown the jokes. I've outgrown, like, you know, this and that, you know what I mean? But just recognize those stages where life is calling you to go to the next level, because the last thing you want to do is get left behind and be that person still at the club, to be that person, you know, who is just too scared to put the work in, to change, and to open the door for the blessings for yourself. Because like I said, I believe that God is willing to bless us, but we have to show him that we're dedicated and that we're willing to put the work in and we're willing to grow up. So yeah. This is my video. Hopefully that all made sense. Probably didn't, I don't know. You know, if not, oh well. No, but yeah, hopefully that resonates. This is a long video, it's 25 minutes, and I apologize, y'all. But I just wanted to get my thoughts out, and you know, this is just something that's been on my mind, something I've been talking about with my best friend, especially because we don't really have our moms in our life, and so we just had to nurture each other. We've had to, you know, be the moms. We have to hold each other accountable, you know what I mean? And so these are just the conversations that we're having. I wish we could have with our moms, but you know, that's just not gonna happen. But nevertheless, like I said, I hope it resonates with you guys. Leave a comment. You guys know I love the comments. I'm always gonna reply. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. I'll be dropping a video sometime. Okay. Sometime soon. But leave an idea if you have it. But yeah, thank you guys. Bye guys.